Hello, Assalamu alaikum guys. Today we are going to be start our final term syllabus that is regarding the design of structure. So, design of steel bridge. So, this is the lecture 1 that we are going to start today. Lecture number 1 is somewhat introductory lecture about the different type of the steel bridges, how we are going to be select a certain type depending upon its requirement, and what type of the loadings are important to consider for the design or analysis of a bridge. So first of all, if we talk about the bridge, so what bridge is? The bridge is a man-made structure that is built to avoid the physical obstacles without closing the way underneath, such as a body of water, valley or road. It is constructed for the purpose of providing passage over the obstacle. So here in the figures you can see this is one type of the bridge that is constructed just to be give a passage for the water to flow. That may be a river or maybe any water flow channel. So that is requiring the water without any obstacles to be flow below that. And also we need a certain passage for the vehicles or the other persons to move on that. Okay, so for that particular case you need to be build that particular passage over that particular other passage of the flow of the water or any other vehicles those are moving underneath. So here also you can see this is the bridge that has been constructed, this steel bridge that has been constructed over the water river channel. And here also you can see that is also a type of the bridge that has been constructed under to give the passage to flow the water. Design of the bridges vary depending on the function of the bridges. That's very important. So the loading also depends, of course, but mainly what we are going to be interested in, we are interested in the function of the bridge mainly. That why this bridge is used. The nature of the terrain where the bridge is constructed and anchored, okay, that is another factor on which the design of the bridges depends. Okay, so the first one is in which you are going to be focused on the function of the bridge, and second one, the factor that depends on the design of any bridge is the nature of the terrain where the bridge is constructed and anchored. Okay, so geographical conditions you can say in other words. Then third one, the materials used to make it. You are constructing a concrete bridge or you are constructing a composite bridge or just the steel material. And the funds available to build it. So it's an expensive structure to be built. So all the time it needs the funds. Okay, its feasibility is very important with respect to funds to be calculated before or prior to the construction of any bridge. So that's very important. Then further factors we can also elaborate in the form of a list in which on which the design of the bridge is dependent. So the you can may have the required clearance that depends on the design of the bridge, that which type of the bridge you are using and how you are designing it, and its erection possibilities, that the pier locations where the column of the bridge the piers are going to be located and the abutments are available to provide the supports. So its erection possibilities, and within the air or within the channel or the river if it is needed to be constructed, then what are the different possibilities to erect the different components of the bridge in that particular in the field area in the field. So that's very important. Then your foundation choices, that's I've told you that the piers are needed to be constructed, the main foundation, and also the abutments, so on the sides of the bridge. So the on the two ends the abutments are needed to support the bridge on two sides, and also the certain weight of the bridge is needed to be transferred towards the soil or towards the underneath strata with the help of piers. So these piers or columns of the bridges and abutments are the foundation. So these foundation choices are very important to design any bridge, though. So it depends on that. So this is also one complete the substructure of the bridge is very important to be designed. So mainly we are can categorize our bridge into two you can say parts, substructure and superstructure. So substructure includes that particular choice that is regarding foundation. Hydraulic characteristics of the stream, if one is involved. Okay, so if it is in hydraulic bridge, mean that is passing over the river or the channel, so you need a certain type of the characteristics of the stream. That will be the, you can say, input data, and that is going to be influenced mainly on the design of the bridge, any type of the bridge. So as an example, a longer span may become economical in case the piers are very expensive to construct. So if you are having foundation choices very poor, so for that particular case, the piers are needed, the very, you can say, expertise in designing it within that particular foundation with poor choices or poor, you can say, strata. So for that particular case, what you have to do, you have to go for the longer spans. So that will be economical. So you have to be given a choice in between those. So whether the piers are needed to be formed or without the piers you are forming. So suspension bridges, let's suppose if the longer spans are without the piers, so many piers you want to construct, so we go for towards the suspension bridges. So, and if the longer spans are required still, and you can also need the much longer span as compared to suspension bridges with the piers, then we can also go for the cable stayed bridges. So, and also different type of the bridges be there, and in this introductory lecture we will discuss all of the type of the bridges. So classification of the steel bridges will be very simplest one, that is not carrying much load, that will be the pedestrian bridge. Then you may have the highway bridges, you may have the railway bridges, you may have combined highway and railway bridges. Every bridge can be divided broadly into two parts. That's what I have told you, superstructure or substructure. So if we talk about the superstructure, so your superstructure is the part of the structure which supports the traffic, and it includes the deck, slab and girders. All the parts of the bridge which is mounted on a supporting system can be classified as a superstructure. And what about the substructure? Substructure is the part of the structure of the bridge which supports the superstructure and which transfer the structural load. That is a technical definition. The structure that is responsible to transfer the structural load to the bearing strata, the foundation strata. It includes the pier, abutments and foundations. Okay, so that will be going to be include the substructure. Depending on the geotechnical properties, that's very important, of the bearing strata, shallow or the deep foundations are adopted. Usually piles and well foundations are adopted for the bridge foundations. So you can go for the piles and well foundations, and these are the type of foundations. And in geotechnical engineering, that particular courses also in the 7th semester and in the previous semesters, you have been discussed in detail the design of the piles or the design of the foundations, giving you that particular kind. So your geotechnical properties are very important for deciding about the substructure of the bridge. So if graphically or with the diagram we want to show or classify the substructure and superstructure, so you can show in this figure that this is a typical steel girder bridge. So in which the steel girder is placed, this green color you can see, this is actually the main girder, and in the transverse direction, if I'm going to show you in 3D, so it will be in lateral direction. So in the lateral direction you may have the traffic deck, okay, so means slabs. So you may have main girder, you may have the traffic deck in the lateral direction above it, okay. So you may have a parapet, mean fence, for making for the safety of your bridge. And for the superstructure you may have the expansion joints, you may have the bearings, this particular structure, and also you may have the part of the slab, concrete slab you can also cast, that is called as linked slab, because actually your rocks or any other supporting strata, your abutments are going to be cut in this particular way, and your girders are placed on the bearings over here. So this particular part will remain unsupported. So if any vehicle needed to be moved, so it need that passage to be covered with the help of any deck or any slab. So that is going to be covered with the help of linked slab, okay. So that may be of concrete overall or any material that is a part of the abutment. Okay, so mainly supporting part of the rock. Okay, maybe itself the rock, or you are just putting abutment material separately over it as an overburden. That is going to be called as abutment. So you can see in dotted line that the pile foundation or any other type of the foundation, concrete mainly foundations you are constructing as an abutment. So majorly this is the part that is structurally going to be support your bridge. Okay, this is bridge deck. The rest is the supporting elements like your linked slab and your main strata on which the abutments are placed. So below that particular point where you have the bearings, above the bearings, okay, this expansion joint, this main girder and this slabs, these are going to be traffic deck slab. That is be a part of a superstructure. And for the substructure, you may have the abutments, you may have the piers, you may have the bearings, okay, and it's all foundations underneath. So these are going to be give you the substructure of it. Okay, so here also enlisted what is a substructure. It's foundation, piles and spread foundations. You may have piers, you may have abutments, and for the superstructure, any structure above the bearing which supports the roadway, and you may have the bearing surface. Bearing surface is for the deck slab above that. Okay, so that is going to be give you a simplest, you can say, diagram that is showing you a typical steel girder bridge, and you can classify majorly as it is in a superstructure and substructure. This bolting has been done to connect the different parts of the fence. Railing, you can say it's a linked slab, and now vehicle can move over it. Okay, so linked slab has been constructed. So now further we can continue with the different types of the bridges. In this slide, here you may have the steel plate girder bridge, steel girder bridge, or the steel truss bridge. Okay, so this is the first one, that is the steel plate girder bridge. So if we are going to be shown in this figure with the help of cross section, so whatever we have been seen in the video later on, the same is over here. This is actually the simple fence or the safety you can say barrier, and you may have the roadway width. So here you are starting with the you are ending with this barrier width, and this once the barrier width has been ending, so the deck or you can say the roadway width has been started. So from here to till here it will be the roadway width. So underneath the roadway where its barrier is there, you are going to be having two main girders. Okay, these girders may be more, as it depends upon the roadway width. If the roadway width is more, then this number of the girder you can increase. So it depends upon the number of the girders that you are at the designing phase you are deciding. Okay, so in between the main girders, this is the main girders, you are going to be having the smaller I section beams. These are going to be called as stringers. These stringers are in the longitudinal direction, in the same direction as of the main girder. Okay, but their dimensions are very small as compared to the main girder. So here you may have the floor beams. This black line is going to be show you the floor beams. So floor beams are going to be installed, going to be erected in a simple steel plate girder bridge in lateral direction, and your stringers has been in the same direction as of the girder. So this is the girder spacing from the center of the girder, one girder till the other. So this is going to give you the number of the stringers again and the spacing between the stringers. These are all the design parameters. So once we are designing our bridge, so we have to decide that how many number of the girders you have to be used for this bridge, and how should be the number of the stringers, and what about the spacing of the floor beams in the lateral direction you have to provide. So next is steel girder bridge. So for the simple steel girder bridges, you are not going to be providing the stringers as in separate. So all are the simple girders. So you are providing the same girders in instead of the stringers. So you may have the one girder, you may have three girders over here shown in this figure. Okay, so these are going to be running parallel to each other, and in between, as we have been watched in the video, the similar way the diaphragm is needed to connect girder to girder. So simple steel girder bridge, okay, it's not a plate girder or particularly not designed as a plate girder. So simple girders, the simple I sections you are providing as in beam. So above it is the concrete deck. This concrete deck is of concrete, and your simple girders are of steel. So if you are going to be connecting one material with the other, so it needs a certain you can say resistance towards the slip in between these two materials. Okay, so although the friction is there, but this is not sufficient sometimes to provide the resistance against the shear. Okay, so you are going to be observing a certain slip inside between, or you can say inside the interface of these two materials. So what we need over there, we need to design it as a composite material. Okay, so composite material is the combination of two different types of the material. So whenever we talk about that, then integrity is very important for the two different type of the materials to be developed. So this integrity with respect to resisting the shear slip in between these two materials is provided with the help of shear studs. Okay, so this design of the bridge as in composite, or the design of the shear studs is not, you can say, important over here. We will discuss it, but very briefly at the end. We will discuss in design that the shear studs you are providing. Okay, so but still you have to provide it. That is the minimum, you can say, design criteria. If particularly shear stud design is not required, but the minimum you have to provide. Okay, So you are providing the stiffeners to provide the stability, okay, and also you are providing the diaphragm to provide the stability. The stiffener are provided to the vertical and the horizontal to provide the stability to the web of the girder, and this diaphragm is to provide the stability to the overall structure of the bridge, okay. So in this way the steel girder bridge has been provided. Then you may have steel truss bridge. So this is simple truss bridge, okay. So the truss are going to be provided, and you are providing your deck maybe above the, you can say towards the top chord, upper chord, or you are providing it for at the lower chord, this deck slab. So it depends, it may be upper, it may be lower, okay. So here in this diagram you can see first of all the truss element, okay. What is the truss? This is the main, first of all, the truss structure. So you are familiar with the truss structure. So you may have the upper chords, you may have the lower chords, okay. So in between you can see this all diaphragm, this all stability, for the stability of this frame and to connect these two right and left trusses. So you can see this is upper lateral bracing, this is upper lateral struts, this is the portal bracing, this may be the end posts, sway truss, sway bracing. So all of this mechanism has been provided for the stability of this bridge. Then at the lower chord you can see the lower lateral bracings, and at the bottom you can also see this diaphragm diagonally provided. So this is also to provide the stability for the bottom chord of your truss or for your bridge itself. And what is the components? What are the different components? The same as we have discussed earlier. You may have the deck slab at first, at the topmost layer will be the wearing surface, and below the wearing surface you may have the structural component that will be the deck slab. Below the deck slab you may have the stringers. As I have told you, these are also the beams, but those are running parallel to the plate girder or the trusses, okay. So instead of the plate girder you have replaced the plate girder or the steel truss bridge with the trusses, okay. With the one like plate girder on right side and one plate girder on the left hand side is replaced with two trusses on both of the sides. So in between these two trusses are going to be connected further, mean the loads in longitudinal direction has been transferred towards the floor beams in lateral direction, okay. And this floor beams, first of all the vehicles are running on the deck in this particular direction. So this is the direction of the traffic or the moving vehicles. So your stringers are in the same direction, aligned in the same direction as of the moving vehicle, okay. Now the load has been transferred from the stringers, this is the load mechanism, load transfer mechanism, from the deck slab to the stringers, and from the stringers to the floor beams in the lateral direction. And your floor beams, the ends of the floor beams are going to be supported at the panel points of your trusses. These are the panel points. So your each panel point of the truss is supported or rested with the floor beams. Your floor beams are resting on at both ends on the panel ends, this panel points of these two trusses at both sides, okay. So then your truss is responsible to carry the load towards the abutments or the bearings or the piers, whatever, okay. So if piers are installed in between, are erected in between, are designed, then in between the load has been transferred towards the piers, and if abutments be there, then directly towards the abutments, okay. So this is the load mechanism for a simple. If the plate girder be there, then the simpler, the same thing be there. Your load has been transferred from the deck slab towards the stringer, from the stringer to the floor beams, then from the floor beams to the plate girder, and from the plate girder to piers and abutments towards the foundation. Now with respect to the placement of the deck of the bridge, you may have the different types. The deck of the bridge is the floor, bridge floor, that is directly carrying the traffic loads, also known as the main carriageway. The deck transfers the loads to the girder or the stringers depending on the decking material. depending upon the position of the bridge deck. This is very important. We talk about here only the position of the bridge deck. As I have told you that for the truss bridges, you can place the bridge deck at the upper chord, and also you can place it at the bottom chord. So with respect to the main supporting member, girder or the truss, in case of the steel girder bridges and steel truss bridges, so it depends. If it is steel girder bridge, then you are placing the girders. If it is steel truss bridges, you are placing the trusses. The bridge may be deck type or it may be thorough type. Okay, so throw type or the deck type, two types you may observe. So what are these two types? Depending upon, first of all, we will discuss about the deck bridge. If the deck or the carriageway is supported at the top level of the main supporting member, whether it will be plate girder or it will be truss, so it is going to be called as deck bridge. So here in this figure you can see, so this is the truss bottom chord is here and truss top chord is here. Okay, and your main carriageway for moving vehicles is placed at the top level, mean at the top chord of the truss, so it will be going to give you the deck bridge. Now similarly, deck plate girder bridge, that was deck truss bridge, now deck plate girder bridge. So for the plate girder, this is the main plate girder that you can see. Okay, so this is the web mainly in between. You may have the intermediate stiffeners for the plate girder. You may have the bottom cover plate and lateral bracings, top cover plates, and rest of the bearings and other parts. But we are interested in deck. Okay, so your main bearing surface, so your deck has been placed by connecting the two plate girders at the top level. Okay, so here, so this is the main deck, so it is going to be called as deck plate girder bridge. So throw bridge, if the deck or the carriageway is supported at the bottom level, it's opposite to that. So the same, you can say the truss is there. So here you have the top chord and here you have the bottom chord. Now your main deck bridge is placed at the lower chord of this truss. So this is going to be called as throw bridge. So if it is a plate girder bridge, so you can see that your plate girder is here and your main deck slab is above. Okay, this is the main girder, plate girder that is built up. So you're connecting the web with the help of angles with the flanges. So this is the second girder. So this is the plate girder. So plate girder, but your main deck has been placed at the bottom level of your plate girder. So that is called as throw bridge. Next type of the bridge is the fixed bridges, that is permanently remains in one position. Okay, these are not moving. So majority of the bridges that you may have seen be the fixed bridges. So very particular cases are there or particular situations are there when you need the movable bridges. A bridge that can change the position and even shape in some cases, its alignment, its angle, anything you can change to allow for the passage of the boats below. This type of the bridge has a lower cost of the building because it has no high piers and long approaches, but it stops the road traffic when the bridge is open for the river traffic. Okay, so two, you can say, traffics be there. You may have the bridge deck, mean for the moving vehicles, and underneath you may have the passage for the boats. Okay, so these two traffics needed to be moved, so one by one. So if you need the boats to be moved into the channel, the river beneath, then what you have to do, you have to move the bridge up and you have to open it. Okay, and you have to clear the space for the boats to be moved underneath, and for the deck, for the, of course, moving vehicles, it is stopped to be moving. So in this way you may have the movable bridge, and different types of the movable bridges be there. You can search on net and also the literatures. So very different types are there. You may have the gate type of the movable bridges in which gates has been installed. Okay, and you may have the sliding bridges. This whole deck can be slide in either way. Okay, and it can open the space in between. So it can be circularly, okay, mean in a sphere form, circularly in periphery, it can move like this. Okay, so it can round, it can give you a round shape movement. So there are different types available in different parts of the world and in the field type. So that's what I was talking about, the composite beam bridge. This is another type of the bridge. If the steel beams in case of the steel girder bridges are continuously connected to the slab by providing the shear studs, or the top flange of the beam is cast within the concrete. So that's what I have told you. If you want to place your girder just above the concrete material, then it is going to be give you a shear slip over here. Okay, just to be avoid this shear slip, what we have to be, we can insert the certain part of the whole flange and certain part of the web of the plate girder or the stringers within the concrete slab. So it's also requiring a certain connecting mechanism that may be in the form of shear studs. So if the girders for case of the composite is not inserted, so you can provide the shear stud over here. And if it will be inserted, then you have to do the analysis that whether this part is sufficient to provide or to avoid the shear slip, or it will be okay or not. So this all depends on the analysis and which depth, up till which depth of the web you need to be inserted to it. This is the post graduate scope level topic, that is the composite design of the composite beam bridge. There we do the analysis for different criterias, and also we are going to be design our composite beam bridges. Okay, so if any one of the students, you will go for the postgraduates, mean MSc, so masters, so specialization, so there you will study in detail that the design of the composite beam bridge. Okay. So it is also very most common a type of the box girder bridge that is going to be used. This type of the bridge is used for curved and the longer spans. For these bridges, total depth requirement is decreased as they can resist the torsion to a large extent. So you are going to be providing a hollow section in between. This is a very general type of typical steel box girder that is providing a typical dimensions. So this is the cross section. So in the longitudinal direction, the same type of the bridge the section you can providing as a plate girder. Then you have the hybrid girder bridge. So in case of the plate girder or box girder bridge, if the high strength steel is used for the flanges and ordinary steel is employed for the web of the supporting element, then this bridge is going to be called as a hybrid girder bridge. Okay, so whether it will be a box girder or it will be a plate girder, but the web is of the simple, you can say, and ordinary steel, but the high strength steel is used for the flanges, then it is called as hybrid girder bridge. Then you have pre-stressed steel bridge. It's very again common type. The plate girder bridges in which the high bending moment sections are pre-stressed. Pre-stressed wires are provided using the high strength steel tendons in a direction opposite to the applied loading are called as pre-stressed steel bridges. So pre-stressing is also a mechanism that can be provided within the steel bridges other than the reinforced bars. Okay, so this is this mechanism is also is a scope of postgraduate level, where the pre-stressed steel is the, you can say, a complete topic or complete subject that is going to be taught over there, and if you will do the specialization, then you can see over there. But in general, what pre-stressing is you are just getting a high strength steel wires, and these different wires are going to be combined together and rolled up, twisted. Okay, you are providing the twist, continuous twist within these wires, and finally these wires be in the form of twisted, or you can say in the form of a bundle of the twisted wires, high strength steel wires. So if one, you can say 10 numbers of the wires, 11, 12, 7, whatever the number, it depends on the design. So for whatever you are doing, you are going to be inserting these bundle into the pipes. Okay, these bundle is going to be called as tendons. These tendons are maybe in any number. Okay, you may have one pipe within, you are inserting or casting within the concrete material, and there you are having the bundles, okay, of the wires in the form of tendons. And within the I section, let's suppose if this is the T section or I section of the beam or the plate girder, that at the bottom usually you are placing these tendons. Okay, these are the pre-stressed wires. So what is the purpose of that? These are going to be making the high bending moment sections. Okay, so the detail we will discuss later on. Here it is not required that why pre-stressing has been provided, but it is a type where actually what we are doing, these are going to be containing the high tensile stresses. Okay, let's suppose if your bridge tends to be moved under the moving loads in this way, your pre-stress wires are stretched with the help of high jacks. Okay, so we are providing a jacks and we are giving the tensile strength to it, tension to it. So once these tensile strength that we are providing with the help of jacks outside is cut down, so in response all of the tensile strength is going to be inserted back into the pre-stressing wires, going to be stored in the pre-stressing wires, and your pre-stressing wires tends to be moved in the upward direction. Okay, so your bridge is going to be give you a bending reaction in the opposite direction. So lesser bending movements mean lesser bendings are going to be observed. It is going to be overcome the bending movements, those are going to be, or the deflections due to the bending movements present within the beam deck, or you can say main plate girder. Then another type is the suspension bridges. It is a type of the bridge in which the deck is hung below the suspension cables on vertical suspenders. The basic structural components of the suspension bridge system includes the stiffening girders or trusses, the main suspension cables, main tower, and the anchorage for the cables at each end of the bridge. Here you can see, you may have the tower, the main towers first of all. Okay, in between these towers we have the main suspension cable that is going to be give you in the form of this form. So this main suspension cable is going to be going to be connected with the deck slab with the help of these intermediate cables. These cables are called as hangers. Okay, so the load of the deck slab is not put on the stringers or the floor beams underneath, as I have told you for the truss bridges and the plate girder bridges, where the load transfer mechanism was that the first load has been put on the deck slab for the moving vehicles, from the deck slab underneath the stringers, and then floor beams, and then towards the piers, mean the main towers or the abutments. But here for the suspension bridges, the load of the deck has been carried by the main cable, suspension cable, with the help of hangers. From the suspension cable, this is the direction of the load. The load of the deck and the moving vehicle has been transferred towards the towers, and from the towers it has been moved or transferred towards the foundation. And the linked slab has been provided with the help of this part of the cable, and finally you may have abutments if it is needed, and the linked slab is on the both of the sides. Okay, this linked slab has been connected with the help of the smaller cable. That is not the major structural component. The major structural component mean the part of the superstructure is this one, starting from the one tower till the other tower. So this is the span of the suspension bridge. In between you cannot provide any tower. Okay, and this is it. Here you have abutments. So if you need not any obstacle inside the underneath passage of the bridge in the form of towers or the piers, other piers, then you can provide this suspension bridge. Okay, for the clearance. Here you can see in this figure, this is the bridge in Pakistan at the border of the Azad Kashmir in Pakistan. This is the suspension bridge. So here you can see the suspension cable. These are the hanger cables, and the load of the deck has been shifted from the hangers towards the cables. So for the supporting of this deck slab, a smaller floor beams has been provided, but these are not the main structural component. Main structural components are the hangers, and mainly this cable is designed to carry the load or to transfer the load towards this tower. You can see this tower. Okay, so here you may have the foundations, and here you may have the abutments for the linked slab. Then comes cable straight bridges. The bridge formed in which the weight of the deck is supported by a number of nearly straight diagonal cables in tension running directly to one or more vertical towers. The towers transfer the cable forces to the foundation through the vertical compression. The tensile forces in the cable also put the deck into horizontal compression. So you can see this is the Millau Viaduct France bridge, that is the longest cable stayed bridge in the world, that you can see. Okay, here this is the main deck. Now the load of the deck first of all has been categorized or going to be classified or distributed in different parts. Each part is going to give you an intermediate tower. That tower is further going to be connected with the help of cables, these diagonally erected cables, and the load of the deck has been carried, going to be transferred towards the tower with the help of these cables, and from the towers towards the foundation. This is it. This is the total design of this. So if you are going to be isolating this part, so you can design it separately. There is no connection of design of this part with the design of this part. Separately, all of these parts has been designed and connected with each other. Okay, so here you can see. So this is the one design part of the cable stayed bridge, this is another one. So if you do not need, here you can say for the Millau Viaduct France bridge, if you see that there is no need to carriage or pathway beneath it, just we need the clear span, or you can say a longer span for the moving vehicles. So for the longest span, for no underneath space or carriageway, you can provide this, because the towers are very important. Without this tower you cannot design this one part of the cable stayed bridge. So this one tower along with these two-sided cables or one-sided cables, it depends, and with the help of this upper superstructure, this upper tower. Okay, so this is all needed. So this is the, you can say, design. Here the load transfer mechanism from tower to the bottom pier and towards the foundation. So these are the guidelines regarding the span range. So this you can read by yourself, in which you have to be have different guidelines regarding the spans that ranges from 15 to 38 meters for the composite beam, and plate girder bridge having from 25 to 45 meters. Box girder bridges have the from 45 to 75 meters, and similarly for the simply supported steel truss bridges, for the continuous steel truss bridges, for the suspension bridges, you have the different range for the span of the bridges. So you can see it or you can observe it by yourself. So this is end of your lecture number 1. Here you have to be have your assignment about the brief introduction for the steel bridges present in Pakistan. That's what I have one shown you, that is at the border of Azad Kashmir and Pakistan. So that bridge is there. Similarly, the Pakistan having a lot of steel bridges with different types, maybe plate girder, maybe suspension bridges, maybe truss bridges. So whatever the number of the steel bridges present in the Pakistan, you have to make a list of it, and it is required to write a brief introduction of each bridge along with the figures, pictures and images, and its location, and it's anything that you will get through your research for making an assignment. Any, you can say, introduction, any data information regarding the steel bridges present in the Pakistan. So that assignment should be comprises of 9 to 10 pages. Okay, so it will be okay and fine, and you have to submit in short form, and I will going to be generate again on Teams an assignment tab, and over there you have to be submit your assignment like your midterm project assignment you have submitted. Similarly, you have to upload your assignment on Teams. Thank you so much, guys.